A few weeks ago, Crunchyroll released an anime called High Going Spice, and it's beyond terrible. It's received many bad reviews with a rating of 2.3 stars on Crunchyroll right now, and also 1.4 out of 10 on IMDb. Only 30% of people like this show, and that just shows how bad this anime is. No one really likes it. But they also, on Crunchyroll, they've added 100 more 5-star reviews, which I'm pretty sure is just Crunchyroll themselves trying to make their anime look better. It's not going to work though. They won't be able to change the opinion of everyone. It's too late. We all know how bad this anime is, and nothing they're going to do will change that. Now, I haven't exactly watched High Going Spice, but I've seen a couple of clips and scenes, and also some other videos talking about this anime, and judging from what I saw, the animation is awful, the voice acting is bad, it doesn't even match in with the voice, and overall the story is very boring. You don't exactly need to watch it to know how bad it is, but if you do want to watch it for yourself, then go ahead and let me know what you think about this anime in the comment section. First off, we have this warning at the beginning. It's strange considering how the art style very much looks like a kid's cartoon, especially in like Steven Universe. It kind of looks like a Cartoon Network reject that Crunchyroll decided to take. All of these characters, they have the same kind of art, or bean mouth art style. Just like what I said, Steven Universe uses the same art style. And this is supposed to be an anime, that's what Crunchyroll says, but it looks nothing like an anime. None of the creators are Japanese, and it's not even based off a manga. It just looks like an average Western cartoon. If you are paying for Crunchyroll Premium, then this is where your money is going to. Not to support the anime industry, but they're using it to create crap like this, High Going Spice. We never really asked for this anime, but Crunchyroll decided to give it to us. Back in 2018, they released a trailer for this, and while they turned off comments, disabled likes and dislikes. But from what I heard, people didn't really like this anime, but I don't even know why they decided to release it now in 2021. It seems that they shelved it for a while, but I have no idea why they decided to release it. No one really wanted it, no one liked the trailer. It just seems like a bad idea, so it just doesn't make sense to me. Now about the animation, there are many scenes in this cartoon that don't even fit in right. Of these badly photoshopped PNGs. Just take a look at this bread. It doesn't really look right, it just looks like they copied and pasted it from the internet. Same with this lamppost. They could have just drawn these things by themselves, but this just looks lazy. And there are many animation mistakes, such as this never-ending plate of cookies. Now let's take a look at this first scene here.
Tooth? Your toothpaste. Ooh, I'm nervous.
We'll scale mountains and fight mermaids and explore precipices and crevices and
Clearly struggling with her lines
we'll be
there.
Totally fearsome dudes.
Totally fearsome dudes.
Hi, Guardian! Whoa!
Yeah, whatever that pingle said just sounded so cringe and stupid. It was funny that she fell down though. But that first scene anyways was just cringe. That's all I can say about it, it's just terrible. Nothing more I can say about it except it's just really, really cringe. The character design in this show is basically, like I said before, it uses the same bean mouth art style as many Cartoon Network shows. It looks nothing like an anime, and this is made by Crunchyroll, which is they're supposed to make anime, they distribute anime to us. That's what they do, but we don't want cartoons. Like, we can just go to Netflix or whatever to get these kind of stuff. But when you go to Crunchyroll, we specifically want anime only. But since it's made by Crunchyroll, this means that it's been targeted towards anime fans. And even though we don't want it, but it just seems that Crunchyroll really doesn't understand its fan base by creating a cartoon like this. When you go to Crunchyroll, you would expect to find anime, but this isn't an anime at all. Judging from the art style, it's nowhere near anime. There's really nothing much to say about the character design and the art style, but this basically looks like it should belong on Cartoon Network or Netflix, but definitely not Crunchyroll, and this has no reason to be on this platform at all. It's not anime, it's just an ordinary cartoon. I don't even know why Crunchyroll did this. What is their purpose? What are they trying to do? But anyways, let's go on to talk about the most important thing about this cartoon, and that is the LGBT representation and the diversity. Basically, all of the main characters are LGBT, but all the straight men are dull characters, like you see in the first scene with all of their fathers. But you see, no one cares about diversity, and this cartoon's main selling point is about the diversity, the fact that it has LGBT characters everywhere, and it's written by all female staff, but no one cares. We just want a good story, and it failed to give us that. And also, it isn't really all that diverse. We've got all female staff, they're all white females, no males, no other races or anything, just white women. And it doesn't really exactly represent non-LGBT characters either. So this cartoon isn't really good at representation of everyone, and yeah, not really all that diverse actually. The reason why the trailer in 2018 did so badly and no one liked it, because it was sold under the premise that it had an all-female staff. That's how it was advertised. They didn't really advertise the story, the plot, nothing much. They kept on just talking about how they're so diverse, they got an all-female staff, but no one cares. And there are lots of other animes that are written by females, such as Sailor Moon, Ranma, Fullmetal Alchemist. And I haven't exactly watched Sailor Moon or Ranma, but I have seen Fullmetal Alchemist, and it's one of my favourite animes. And that was written by a woman, and it's really good. Very amazing story, very good. Unlike this anime, it fails to give a good story. All it cares is about LGBT and diversity and whatever nonsense, and that's why it failed. And also with these other animes that I mentioned before, yes, they were written by women, but they weren't advertised as being written by a woman. I didn't even know Fullmetal Alchemist was written by a woman until recently, which just goes to show that it doesn't really matter what the gender of the writer is. All it matters is about the story, if it's good or not. And Fullmetal Alchemist, really good story. But with High Grade Spice, we don't really care if your entire staff is all female. We only care if you can give a good story, and that does not give you an excuse to call us sexist. Your cartoon is just bad, that's it. Now back to the LGBT representation in this cartoon. Basically, there is this one character in the show who literally looks straight into the camera and says, "I'm transgender." Here, I'll show you the scene right now.
Lavender and I met when we were students here together, our first year. We were a lot like you and your friend Sage, actually.
What? How?
Totally inseparable. This was our first everything hours, dorks.
Mom looked so fierce in the uniform. Is that your sister?
It's me, actually.
You were a girl?
I'm transgender.
I don't know that word.
I was born into a female body, but it wasn't the right body for me. So I used new magic to change it.
Cool. You can do that? Is that kind of transformation magic permanent?
I take a potion once a month to keep the spell active, which lets me be the real me.
I'd give anything to know where she is right now.
I know. Me too.
Yeah, nothing can't be any more obvious than that. It was clearly forced. Just said they were transgender and kept on explaining what transgender was. This doesn't really add anything to the story at all. Just pointless stuff. She literally explicitly said that she's transgender. This just seems really forced. They really forced the LGBT representation in it. There was no need for her to say that she's transgender. It's pretty much obvious when she showed her the book. And I don't think there's really any point having any of these LGBT characters, any sexualities, transgender stuff. No point, just focus on the story, forget about sexuality and all that stuff. It doesn't really add anything to the story. It's pointless. Other anime do manage to have LGBT characters and also manage to have a good story. That's because they don't really force it in like this one. They don't have the characters explicitly state their sexuality or gender, whether they're transgender, whatever. But at least they still manage to have a good story, which is alright. But in fact, I think that it's better to forget about sexuality altogether and just focus more on the story, because that's what most of us viewers come for, the story, not about diversity or whether this character likes to do, whether sexuality they are, what gender, what race, anything, who cares? We don't really care about that stuff. We don't really need to know about that stuff. It's just unnecessary. But this is what you expect to get when the creators are woke. They don't care about the story, they just care about adding all of these LGBT characters and whatever, and make sure there's no white straight men or whatever adding their own ideologies, making all of the characters, I don't know, lesbian or gay or whatever, or transgender. The woke people, they don't care about the story, they only care about their own ideologies. They just want to push their own ideologies into this show, and that's what you got here. And speaking of this, I'm also going to speak about the controversy with this show, especially this one of the writers, Kate Leff. She literally goes on Twitter and makes many posts about her saying, "Kill all men."
Oh shit, here we go again.
I fail to understand how people like Kate Leff are even allowed to have a job when they say stuff like this on social media. Employers, they literally check all of his social media, see whether bad stuff he said, and they will decide whether to give you a job or not. But this person, she was allowed to write this, she got the job, she wrote the story, and it came out, everyone hated it. It wasn't good. None of this is good. This person should never have been hired. This show, High Got Inspired, should never have existed. But here it is. This is what happens when you let a person who believes kill all men create something like this. And this doesn't even surprise me why this show received a lot of hate. It's really understandable. This person hates all men, so let's all hate on their show. This is a perfect example of how certain opinions are accepted and certain opinions aren't. Because if she was a man and she said kill all women, then she would never have gotten a job. Her entire career would be ruined. And yeah, that's the problem with modern feminism and Twitter. They allow bullshit like this to happen. But whenever someone disagrees with them, speaks out about it, helps men, says good things about them, supports them, then they'll get attacked by these people. They get cancelled or even banned. And speaking of cancelling, it also might be a good idea to cancel your Crunchyroll subscription, considering how your money is going to people like these instead of actually supporting the anime industry. And it's also another reason to use pirate sites instead. This show is so bad that not even pirate sites have it, which, to be honest, is a pretty good reason to use pirate sites instead. they don't have high guiding spice, so that is great. So that's why I refuse to watch High Guiding Spice. It's just a massive piece of shit and a literal dumpster fire. But if you want to see for yourself how bad it is, then that's fine. Or maybe if you just want to torture yourself, then okay. But at the end of the day, this show is garbage that shouldn't be allowed to exist. By the way, that trans character I mentioned earlier is actually a self-insert of the creator of High Guiding Spice, Ray Rodriguez, who identifies as a trans man but is a biological female. It's like her saying, wow look, I'm transgender. Yeah, no one cares, your character's shit. The only people who actually like this show are the woke community at Twitter, who only like the fact that most of the characters are LGBT and that's what constitutes as good for them. But they don't seem to care if it has a good story or anything. But as long as the characters are all gay, lesbian, pansexual, transgender, queers, or whatever, then that's fine for them. But I don't care what I think, they're just plain stupid. It's unfortunate how many companies give into the woke community and pump out woke garbage like this just to satisfy these people, which are only a very tiny percentage of the population, but they are the loudest, and they end up turning most of the fan base away because none of us who actually do like anime and stuff, we don't really care about representation, we only care about getting a good story. Representation contributes nothing to the story, but it seems like none of these creators cared about that. They only care about representation, and that's how a lot of companies end up losing lots of money. Because wokeness is a bigger priority for them than profit. This was just my opinion by the way, but if you disagree with it then that's fine. But I doubt most of you would disagree with it anyways, because we all know how bad this anime is. But if you do think differently, if you have any other reasons for why you like or maybe dislike this anime, then let us know what you think in the comment section below. Anyways, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.